Hello, welcome to this Jane's Videos, and this is Nightmare House 2019, The Dark Harvest, Haunt Build Day 7. Now, I thought I'd start this Haunt Build video by just giving you a daytime look at the stuff that was done yesterday, before anything else was done today, just so you could see it a little bit better. That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. We're going to take a look, and you'll see everything that was done. So I'm going to start over here at the Field of Screams. Some of the corn stalks have fallen, and that was predictable that some would. Some of them are staying pretty secure, but some of them keep falling, so just gonna have to put up with that for the next 17 days until Halloween. But I have tons of corn stalks. In case any of these break from wind or anything, I can just replace them. But so here's what was done yesterday in the Field of Screams. Just giving you a better look at it than you got last night. Tons and tons and tons of corn stalks. And of course there's the Scarecrow, who I love. And he looks super creepy amongst the corn stalks. So we've got all those. I already talked about where props are going yesterday, so I don't really need to talk about that today. I just want to give you a look at stuff that you didn't get to see too well. The farmhouse's structure, of course it still needs the painting, the roof, and everything. Here's the structure, in case you couldn't see it too well last night. Here it is. It's pretty large. Like I mentioned, it is a very tall facade. I can't even reach the top of it. It is a very tall facade. Got some decorating on the porch done, of course. It's very tall. Now over here is something that I actually just did today, and this won't. Either this will stay here, even when it rains, or it'll be brought up on the porch and just moved back out here after it's done raining. But I put it here to see what it's going to look like, where it's going in the haunt, the outhouse. So here it is. That's exactly where it's going in the haunt. And if I don't want to move it when it rains, I might just cover it up with something so the rain doesn't get on it, because that should do the job. But if I move it, it's not heavy, just kind of hard to move so it doesn't fall apart, but it's not heavy at all, so that's not really an issue. But here it is. I like it. It's not the best, but it's not bad either, and in the dark it will definitely do its job. It's pretty short for an outhouse, but it doesn't really matter. It's pretty cool though. And this is, like I said, this is exactly where it's going in the haunt, right next to Nightmare Harvester right here. Here's the windmill during the day. Of course it's not done, and like I said, we're going to reposition the blades so it doesn't look as much like a Templar cross, but here it is during the day. It is enormous. It is massive. I like it. And then the last thing I'll show you is the back room of Simon's slaughterhouse, so you can see that a little bit better. Of course, not much was done in here. I just wanted to start it, just so it's less stuff to worry about. It's going to be a lot more detailed on Halloween, but that's it for now. Field of Screams is still my favorite, of course. There is a lot of work to be done, but I'm excited. Okay, so the clip at the beginning of this video was actually filmed yesterday, because I thought I was going to do work yesterday, but I didn't do any work yesterday. So that was actually filmed yesterday, but today is a new day. It's October 15th today. But it's still going to be in the same build video. So I'm going to show you stuff that was done today. Not a whole lot, but some pretty important stuff was done. First off, let me get over to this sign that I made. And sorry I'm filming at night. I didn't know all that was going to be done today, so I just kind of filmed a little late. But this right here is a sign that I started. This is either going to be for the sawmill or Simon's slaughterhouse. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure that out. I did a little bit more work on these guys. Did a little bit better on their paint jobs, because there were a few spots missing. I fixed up the paint on this a bit, because parts of that were coming off, because that's from last year, so it was kind of chipping away. Let me get to some of the more exciting stuff now. So winging Scarecrow, as you can see, is right here, and I am going to cover him up for when it rains, but I wanted to get him out here because the more props that are brought out now, the less work that has to be done later. So I want to start setting up. I'm probably not going to set up any more animatronics other than him until the week before Halloween, because I don't want him to get ruined. But for him, he is under an awning, so if I cover him up and he's under that awning, he should be good. But I wanted to see how he would look here. Of course, this is all going to be covered. There's going to be walls here. This is going to be the sawmill's facade. But this is where he's going to hang. He's going to hang right outside the sawmill facade. Because this whole area leading up to the sawmill is kind of empty. because it's just the entryway to the sawmill. So I do want a few things outside the sawmill just to add a little bit more to this area, since it's kind of empty other than that. So swinging scarecrow is going to go right here. Of course, all that will be covered, and there will be a facade here. It'll look so much better, but that's where he's going to go. And I like it. I've never actually hung him up before. I've always just had him sitting on a hay bale because it just looked like he was sitting down. But now I actually have a place to hang him, and I definitely like how he looks hanging up. I really like it. Now I'll get over here. I did the porch for the Hillbillies hideout. The Hillbillies hideout has not been started yet, but I did the porch. It's basic, but what I did was I just elevated it by putting stuff underneath, so it's higher up, and then I just put that bucket there just to start decoration on the porch a little bit. Nothing's been done with the windmill or the outhouse is done, but nothing's been done with the windmill today. I put this hat here. I removed the hat that was over there because, for one, I liked this hat better, and two, I feel like it would make more sense if a farmer left his hat next to the outhouse instead of left his hat randomly next to a windmill. So I like the hat over here better. It's just some background detail. I put this hay bale over here because this is where Jack's straw is going to be. He's going to be under this tree, and he's going to be sitting on the hay bale, and he's going to jump up from there. So I decided to put this hay bale here. The other hay bales I have not put anywhere yet because those are going in the barn. And this is what the best stuff that was done today. So we have the farmhouse was painted, which is good, of course. It was painted white, and the black stripes for the wooden planks supposed to be to keep it together. That's just what it's supposed to look like. Of course, if you've seen Nightmare House Lore the movie 2, that is supposed to be this farmhouse, because obviously the backstory revolves around Jackson this year and his farm, and Nightmare House Lore the movie 2 revolves around Jackson and his farm. So this is supposed to be the same farmhouse from that. So it's definitely a smaller version, of course, because I'm not going to build a full-scale building, but it's supposed to resemble it. So the window's in the same spot, the door's going to be there. Of course, it doesn't have the roof yet, but a lot of progress was made. The window's cut out. If you remember yesterday, it was just boards. These were just boards, but now it's actually got a cut-out window and everything, which I think looks really nice. I also did this. I spray painted this gun. This is a cap gun, but it was orange, and I wanted to spray paint it to make it look more realistic. Of course, it's just one solid color, but it won't really matter in the dark. This is just going to be leaning up against the house there, like one of Jim's guns that he keeps to shoot trespassers. So that's why that's there. What was that noise? I didn't like that. Anyways, here's one of the biggest things that was done today. The facade for Simon's Slaughterhouse has its structure. This is where it's going. Of course, walls for the haunt are going to be made out of the same stuff that they've always been made out of, poles and stuff. And I'll show you the wall structures because I actually have PVC pipes and wood placed down to show where the walls are going to go. I'll show you that in a moment. But this facade is here. It's very, very large. Of course, it doesn't have any of the structural, well, not structural, it doesn't have any of the detailing on it yet. It doesn't have the sign or anything. But when it does get that, it'll be really cool. But currently, this is just the structure. And it's a very quick and easy way to make a facade. Because this is just a facade, of course, it's just going to be flat that guests are going to walk through. So it's very quick and easy. And it's very stable too, because the poles stretch out like feet here and make a base. So it's very stable, it's not going to fall down, and then that keeps it together. These sides are going to be like where the windows are, and then this is the entryway that guests are going to walk through to get into the Simon Slaughterhouse section. So I really like this facade, or the structure. I think it's going to do its job very well. Don't know when it will actually get its appearance and actually take shape as Simon Slaughterhouse, but as of now, I'm liking how it looks. Now, there was another thing that my grandma said that her and my dad did while I was not outside. They said they did the roof for the farmhouse, but I don't know where it is. It might actually be this. This might be the start of the roof. I don't know. That would actually make sense if it was. I don't know. So I'm not really going to say if it is or not, because I don't know if that's it or if it's somewhere else. But yeah, I'll show you the what I did for walls now. There's going to be one wall coming from here, going this way, and this will be one long wall that goes through the Rector Farm, right behind the Hillbillies Hideout, right through Simon's Slaughterhouse, and right through the Forest of Lost Souls, and it will also be the facade for Dead Oak's cabin, so it goes down the whole yard. There's a lot less walls this year because it's a farm, so it's more of an open space than a bunch of enclosed spaces, but there still needs to be walls because it's a haunt, so there still needs to be a path. There's going to be a wall here that goes this way for when guests come out of there and come into the sawmill area to separate that from the rest. There's going to be another wall here, and this wall is going to be a part of Dead Oak's cabin here, but it's also going to be a part of the path leading up to the pumpkin patch and the path leading up to the sawmill. So a lot of the walls are connected, which means there doesn't need to be as many walls this year, because a lot of the walls serve the purpose of being each other's walls, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Oh, I love that tree. Anyways, that was all the progress that was done today. It wasn't a whole lot, like I said, it wasn't a whole lot, but it was a lot of important stuff that I'm glad got done. Like the structure for Simon's Slaughterhouse, I'm glad that's finally done. And actually making this into Simon's Slaughterhouse shouldn't be too hard. I'm probably going to use plastic or tarp for this one and paint it. It won't stay tarp, of course. Paint it to make it look like wood. Same way that the farmhouse was done. Of course, that was just done with actual wood. Whereas this cannot actually have wood put onto it because it's PVC pipes. It's just going to have plastic or tarp on the front, and then that will be painted to look like wood. So that's how that's going to work. And if that sign is for it, then that sign will go at the top, and I might use that sign for that. Because the sign for Simon's Slaughterhouse might actually be easier to just paint onto the tarp. Whereas the sawmill, I actually want a separate sign hanging off of there. And so the sawmill facade is going to be one of the most complicated facades, honestly, and not how big it is or how hard it is to build, because that's probably going to be the barn for sure. But the sawmill is complicated to figure out how to do it, because we have a wall connecting to there, but then there's also a wall connecting to there. So it's not like the facade can go there or go there, because there's walls there. So there's just this one small little area that the facade can go, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do for that. I might just have like a really skinny entryway, or I might just not do a full facade and only put a sign and then put some lanterns on the other side. I don't know. We'll figure it out as time goes on. Not sure yet, but I do know that one thing I'm going to be doing with the sawmill is making a water wheel, a giant water wheel, so I'm excited for that. It won't actually spin. It'll be most likely just flat, just like the farmhouse, but it will be a water wheel, and it'll be probably up against the building, so you can't really tell that it's flat. And I might have like some blue plastic or something on it to make it look like water, and then put a blue fire and ice light to make it more look like rippling water. I don't know yet, but yeah, water wheel is going to be outside that, and I've already made my audio for every scene of the haunt, so let me tell you what scenes are going to have audio. The barn has country music. I haven't made that audio or the Rector Farm audio yet, but those will come. Forgot I haven't made those two yet, but the barn will have country music audio. Field of Screams, I made that audio. It's crows cawing, thunder crashing, and wind howling, and muffled screams. I already explained that one, but I'm just doing it again. The Rector Farm is going to have a giant speaker. It's going to be the biggest speaker, so it will reach a lot of the areas of the haunt that don't have audio. It's going to be, the speaker is going to be on top of here, facing this way. And so you'll be able to hear it over at the farmhouse, the Rector Farm, Simon's Slaughterhouse, Hillbillies Hideout. It's just going to be country music, pretty much. Old country music. Of course, no new country music. It's going to be old country music because that'll give it a creepier vibe. And then Forest of Lost Souls doesn't have any audio. Simon Slaughterhouse doesn't have any audio. The next place with audio is Dead Oaks Cabin. I made that audio, and that's probably my favorite one that I've made so far. It's old country music, of course, but it's got fire crackling for the fireplace. It's got crickets chirping and wolves howling in the distance from outside, a thunderstorm. It sounds really nice. I'm really proud of that one. And then the next one, the Sawmill does have audio. The Sawmill's audio is kind of, I don't know, it's more sad sounding country music. Just because, I don't know, I kind of took it from Spirit's Sawmill back in 2012, their Sawmill theme. They had kind of slow, sad country music playing in it, and I thought it had a good effect. So mine, it's not like singing, it's like instrumental, but it's kind of more somber sounding. I don't know, I like it though. I think it works well for it, and it has screaming, saw sounds, all of that. And then the Pumpkin Patch also has audio. It has the sound, wind howling, thunder crashing, flies swarming, because it's rotten pumpkins and corpses, and then some monster sounds that are like monster growls and snarls that are going to be the sounds of the pumpkins. So I'm pretty happy with all the audio I've made so far. I still need to do the barn and the Rector farm. I'm not sure if I'm going to do those, or because last year the ones that didn't have intricate audio, like these audios I'm designing, because I'm adding in music and sound effects and compiling all this stuff together to make one whole soundtrack. Whereas with the barn and the Rector farm, all I want is really music in those ones, so I might just create a YouTube playlist and play that, because it would be easier than just adding all this music in just to have it only be music. So I might just do that as a YouTube playlist. I don't know yet, because I might add some background sounds to that. I don't know. Anyways, not very much was done today, but it was a lot of important stuff. So it's good that we got done what we did. Tomorrow it is supposed to rain, so what's going to be done tomorrow is probably the barn. I'll probably work on that, and hopefully get some walls up in there and get that scene up and cranking, because that's the best thing to do when it's not raining. I mean, when it is raining. When it's not raining, it's best to work outside in case you don't get a chance when it's raining. And then when it is raining, work on the barn inside. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Keep howling at the moon, my werewolves.
Hey, come back. You don't play fair and you're making me angry. But maybe if you subscribe to Jaden's videos and join the werewolf army, I'll let you live another day. But it's not guaranteed.